What matters is to know what your sample is. You can determine your sample by 2 ways. Numerology, you take your date of birth, place of birth, and some information. With that, we'll be able to tell you who or what your sample is. And also, we can tap through your energy to know your sample. Your sample can be anything. It can be human, it can be a thing, it can be something.
Non-living thing.
Yes, you see them as non-living thing. Listen to me carefully. Your sample can be your wife, your brother, your son, your friend, anything. Your sample can even be this watch. Yes. Maybe your sampling is a flower. You can buy the flower, plant it in your house. It will definitely change your life a better place. Your sampling can be a name. You have to do it. Add it on your name. As soon as you add up this name, your life will change.
What's your sample?
My mother. My mother, she is my sampling.
Your friend is Sike. Sike. Oh, Sike. Ya funi Sike. Sike jankani Sike ya temude no bezi. Ade achedia aba ni pedie mia pedi kohwe makola ni kejetia kiti ebi to ne bibia onum tofo kwabna da ko ensema onwe ye brea ebibi etwem enie. Welcome to Television CK. We here once again with an exclusive interview. My guest is the CEO of Bisatumi Herbal Center. I call him the I, Lord Zilla is my guest. I'm CK. Before you respect, subscribe to Television CK. Boss in the time one was a gramophone apa was me ba mekeja atumumu. 60. We'll be right back.
Anya asase ani asase amanso twenda ho ehu so pani kwapia kraman ni panyenim asase ne de amanso twibia nda ho na da ho no tetrete so himpom bi enim eno de bebi a wunya bi ato a ene Nasco Properties die nika ewo Nasco Properties wato asase na wiaje ho nkrata ne bibia no ope wo mo mbesi ama wa jai omo qualified construction team adan bia ope bia ombe kukuresi wonum kinkren Nasco Properties for farmland asase yantama yade yekua ewo Winneba ne Cape Coast Kwantimpon so Simbrofo a eben Apam Junction Nasco Properties insase ne twehyiam biaye
Kaswa Winneba Road Dominase near the new Agbogloshi Onion Market Kaswa Winneba Road Akrampa near Fete Kakraba Kaswa Bojiasi Road Papase near Richmond School Complex Pram Old Ningo near Ningo Secondary School Tema Akosombo Road Shai Hills Osudoku Frey 0240 221 0277 071 717 and 0302 864 956. Nasco Properties,
your realtor for life.
We are back. Lord Zilla. The fashionista.
Yes, Lord Zilla.
The fashionista.
Lord
the
Zilla.
seer.
Yes.
Hope all is well.
All is well.
It's been like 2 weeks seeing you. Yes. I'm happy seeing you again.
Thank you very much.
What are we discussing?
Sampling.
Sampling. To sample something.
Yes.
What do you mean by sampling here?
Well, first of all, I will use this opportunity to say hi and greet your cherished viewers around the globe, and also on what you ask, sampling. Everybody has his own or her sampling. I mean, a sample, because we came to this earth as an energy, full of energy, and energy or anything that you can perceive has to be on these two things, which is positive and negative. So energy itself has its own positive and negative, so do electricity has its own positive and negative. So the combination of positive and negative will give you a polar sign, which is polarity. So when you have positive alone without negative, it will be very difficult to have a polar sign, isn't it? So as you being a human being, you are full of energy. So you could be the positive energy or the negative energy. So if you are the positive energy, so where is your negative energy? That's your sampling. So when you meet this positive energy of yours or negative energy of yours, then you become full human being, as full energy.
Without your sample, you are not full.
You are not full.
Can't you be negative and positive at the same time?
It's impossible. Which is what I'm saying. From the higher plane or higher consciousness, you come as a full energy. So we have something called twin ego. Okay, the twin ego is you being here and your second
Continue.
the second you, which is your sampling. So if you meet your sampling, life will move on smooth for you. Each and every big man that you see around, 90% of them were able to make their sampling, either conscious or unconscious. You can meet your sampling without knowing that this thing or this person or so and so is your sampling. So these famous people that you normally hear of them, they have their sampling. I know of few people who have their sampling and their life move on smooth. We have artists in Ghana here, they were able to connect with their sampling, their life turned into betterment. We have men of God, big pastors in this country, they were able to make their sampling, so their life move on smooth for them. So when you happen to meet your sampling and life is moving on smoothly and you maltreat this sampling of yours, life will become so terrible for you.
How do you determine your sample?
You see, you can determine your sample by two ways. We normally use numerology to take your date of birth, place of birth, and some information that will put on some calculation, addition and subtraction. With that, we were able to tell you who your sample is or what your sample is. And also we can tap through your energy to know your sample. Your sample can be anything. It can be human, it can be a thing, it can be something.
A thing?
Yes.
Non-living thing?
Yes. You see them as non-living thing because this kind of mind, which is why we, the Hermetic masters, we normally call these scientists material scientists. But if you are deep in Hermetic, you will know that everything has a life.
Like a computer has a life?
Yes, it's
like a cup.
Computer has a life.
No, a cup.
Cup has a life.
How?
Fine, I'll tell you why. Either the cup is formed by ceramic or a rubber, whatever. This rubber itself, it's a thing, isn't it? It's a thing. And the process of molding the cup has to pass through what? Fire, isn't it so? And this fire is part and particles of an energy, isn't it so? So definitely this cup is having an energy of what? Fire, isn't it so?
But if you digest it even properly, the rubber is from tree. Tree has life.
Yeah,
from our perspective,
if I go that way, maybe it will be very difficult for people to do what?
Understand
it. Okay, but in the process of molding the cup, you need fire to do what? To melt, for it to be more liquid, for you to be able to mold it, isn't it so?
But
so that process,
I'm finding it difficult to accept what you are saying, because cup doesn't have life. There is no life in it.
What do you know by life?
Life.
You only know life by living, isn't it so?
Yes, sure.
But we know life by energy. anything that is energy is life, isn't it so? So if anything that is energy is life, which is why scientists say energy is neither created nor destroyed, which is God. God is neither created nor destroyed. So God is full of energy. So this energy of God has been expanded in everything. Okay, which is why in hermetic we can use rubber. Okay, we will melt rubber and we can use it to do something in spiritual.
Okay, that's
because
fine.
it has an energy.
That's
okay,
fine.
stones has an energy.
No, stone is a living thing.
Yes, it has an energy.
Sure.
Tree is a living thing. It has an energy. Energy. So computer is being tapped by what? Network, isn't it so? It has an energy.
A cup
Is being tapped by energy. The process of molding the cup is an energy. Okay, let me give an example of this. Right now, assuming I'm dead, and I'm being buried, this body will surely, with time, it will do what? It will rot, and it will turn to what? Sand. And this sand will definitely do what? Produce something within it, maybe a tree or something, or a fruit that you will do what? You will benefit from the fruit or the tree. So this tree can be molded or can be turned in a different thing. And you should know, in anything it has an origin, isn't it so? Rubber has an origin. So the origin of the rubber itself is an energy, and the process of melting the rubber itself is an energy. So we, as an hermetic masters, we know everything on this existence is full of energy.
I like your defensive method.
Yes, everything is full of energy. So I can tap through anything at all. So if you know your sampling, maybe your sampling is a flower, a particular flower. You can buy the flower, plant it in your house. Your energy will be transmitting to that. You'll be changing energies. It will definitely change your life to a better place. Okay, your sampling can be a name, which you have to do what? Add it on your name as a nickname. As soon as you add up this name, your life will change. This guy, Great Capone, was a wildest arm robber, isn't it so? He was. You see, the name that he took changed his destiny, and he became an arm robber. That's bad sampling. So we have positive sampling and negative one. So if the sampling that you took is not being tallied with your energy, would definitely change your life in negative aspects. If you are positive, you need to have negative sampling. But when you are positive and you took a positive sampling, definitely it's going to backfire.
Can someone have two samplings?
More than two. More than two.
At the same time?
Yes. Shatawale has two. Yes. His son and his mother.
Shatter sampling?
Yes.
Samples?
Yes.
His mom and the son?
Yes. And I don't want to mention the other one. I would have said it is three, but I don't want to mention the other one.
But then you've mentioned the two. Okay.
Yes.
It's not even necessary. Yes. What's your sample?
My mother. My mother, she is my sampling.
Just one?
My mother. I always say one. My mother, she is my sampling. Okay. Reverend Obofo has a sampling. His wife and his daughter. Okay. So as soon as you meet your sample, your life change.
How will you know?
Which is why you need to ask those who have the idea, who have the knowledge of that. Okay? Seek the kingdom of the Lord. This is what Jesus said. Seek, ask, knock. Matthew 7 verse 7. And you are not seeking, you are not asking, you are not knocking.
What we are discussing, is it from the Bible?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Oh, so you took it from the Bible.
I would say yes. Any spiritual knowledge that is authentic has to relate with the scriptures.
Scriptures.
Yes.
Like the Bible, the Quran, and the likes.
And Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Shirimana Bhagavatam, whatever. All. It has to relate to that. Because Jesus had a sample, which is what? John the Baptist. When he met John the Baptist, he had a light. Okay? So you need your sampling. He had two sampling in the beginning of his life, his gospel. One was John the Baptist, the second one was Peter. These two people held him to do what? To bring out his gospel. Okay? So your sampling is very important in your life because you are full of energy. So if you don't see your counterpart, your other you, your life is full of misery. There are people, if you are watching me right now, there are people who normally feel that they are not alone. There are people like that. They normally feel that they have their second part of them somewhere. So they always feel lonely. Always feel lonely. Always feel lonely.
Can a sample be like your brother or your sister?
Your sample can be your wife. Listen to me carefully. Your sample can be your wife. Your sample can be your brother, your wife, your son, your friend, anything. Okay? What matters is to know what your sample is. Listen, your sample can even be your wristwatch. Just watch. Yes. Which you need to tap energy from. In Hermetic, when a master reaches to the higher plane of consciousness, the body becomes feeble to the extent the other bodies would want to do what? Disconnect. So he needs to create a sample with so much attachment. Okay, some people create their samples with attachment so that they will put it on. That thing will do what? Will suppress the body from being feeble. So your sample is more important. When at the moment you see your sample, life changes. If you are facing difficulties, I'm telling you, life will change. Maybe you are suffering, maybe your marriage is not moving on well because you are not able to identify your sample. So it is very important to know who your sample is or what your sample is. When I found out my sample, I went to my mother and I sat her down. I said something to her and I gave her something. 3 months after, I began to see changes in my life. Okay? I'm telling you guys, your sample is the real you. The sample is your second energy. You can be positive energy or negative energy. When you don't have your counterpart, your life is full of mess.
Okay, case study. For instance, you've mentioned that your mom is your sample. In case your mom is no more, how do you survive?
The energy will transcend to another person. Sample changes. It transcends to different dimensions. When my mother is no more, it will transfer to another person or another thing. Yeah. It can transcend. It can change to an animal. It's an energy. When the person is gone, the energy would come out from the body and it go to another thing. What matters is what matters is for me to identify where the energy is. That's all.
It's not easy to know your sample.
It is not easy because you are zero in terms of spiritual. You understand me? So you need to
consult someone
and consult those who know more about it. Okay? Yes, you need to consult. A political party can have a sample. Yes, political party can have a sample. So if they are not likely to meet their sample, the party will always lose all the time.
So
it will always go retrograde.
for instance, NDC has a sample.
Yes.
Without the sample, they cannot win the coming election.
Yes.
Likewise, NPP.
Yeah.
Can we break it down, or we should wait some other time?
Well, you see, NDC,
Their sample is
NDC, their current sample is John Mama,
and NPP.
Alan Cash.
Hey, wow.
Yes, MPP. You see, I don't want to say something, but their current sample is Alan Cash. Even way back, they should have appointed Alan Cash to be there.
But then they didn't appoint him.
Yeah.
He another one, the flag bearership position.
But he
They
is not
won.
their sample.
Even the sample should be part for them to win.
And have victory.
Yeah, victory. But the sample you are claiming wasn't the flag bearer, but they won. What does that mean?
Winning of an election
It's victory.
is victory indeed, but it does not take you in any way of success. Listen to me very carefully. You can win an election, but your purpose is to do what? To serve, to make the country what? Feel comfortable. But when you win an election and the country is suffering, crying, it means you have found your means and way of cheating nature.
Are you
telling you?
Are you suffering?
Oh no, listen, I'm not saying I'm suffering, but you see, I'm putting my foot in people's shoes. Per what I have been listening, per what I have been hearing from people. I don't know, I don't go out, okay, right now,
But
there is something
you buy fuel, you give your wife's money for home and all, so at least you know what is happening.
Let me tell you something. 3 weeks ago I bought cement 40 something Ghana. Just the last 2 days, now cement is about 59 cedis. You understand what I'm saying?
The world is evolving.
Now how much is the dollar per $1? How much is the dollar?
Approximately
This month,
8 cedi.
I'm telling you, this month dollar will shoot to 10 cedis.
This month.
I'm telling you, 10 cedis. Mark my word. You understand me? But that doesn't mean that the president is not making his effort or is not making his best. He is doing his best. But you see, when something is not right, you can force and force and force, yet people will not see. Hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe the previous government has already corrupted the country, and this one is doing his best because maybe within him he's a good man, but because he is not the sample of the party, whatever he will do, people will not appreciate, people will not see. But if you are the sample, if you like, don't do anything, people will praise you. That's what I'm saying. Because you are connected to what? To that energy. You are going with the energy. But this is the case. Our current president is not going with the energy of their party.
Okay, so Baumia is in the sample.
No.
Alan Tremantin is the sample.
Yes.
Alan Tremantin is the right person for NPP.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And he can manage the party and the country as well when he becomes a president, because he is the sampling of the party.
And John Dramani Mahama.
Yes, he's also the sampling of NDC. Okay. But the previous
Now let's talk about current.
Yes, I want to say something. The previous government of his, at that time he wasn't the sampling of the party. He wasn't. You understand me? So definitely whatever he would do, people will not appreciate him. Likewise, our current president. You understand me? So to know your sampling, knowing your sampling will help you to have more favor in the sight of people. Knowing your sampling it will make life so simple and easy for you in terms of finance.
Mama's worth.
Yes. Okay. And knowing your sampling, look, it will enhance everything about you. I'm telling you, even your spiritual journey will be more smooth.
So your sample can be your wife.
Yeah. So the more you have sex with her, the more you get money. Yes. I'm telling you, there are women, if you have sex with them today, the next day they will call you for a new contract because she's your sampling. And there are some women, if you have sex with them today, your business will crumble. Yes. So if the sampling is not going with your sample, I mean your energy, it will rather destroy you. So you should know the kind of woman you get along with.
But if your mom is a sample, regardless any woman you marry, that
yes,
you can set forward.
That's what I'm saying. If it happens that your sample is your fiancé or your wife, then you should be very careful. You should be selective in terms of choosing of a wife, because if you are not lucky enough and you pick any woman, hey, your life is going to be mess. Okay. And if you are lucky enough to meet your sample, I have a friend who has a wife. They are still together. Okay. Excuse my word, the wife, she's very ugly, I'm telling you. Yes.
But in this modern world, do we still have ugly women?
I'm telling you, she's very ugly.
She can just move to
look, she has
a spa and
big teeth, and she's very dark in complexion, and but my friend went for her and he married her. I was like, hey, what's happening? And he told me, you don't know her? You see, these articulators that I am having is because of her. So you see, the first intimacy that they had, he had a dream of lottery, 3 numbers, and he's taken, he won. The next attempt he had the same dream and he won again. I was like, wow, this wife, this guy, this woman, I have to marry her. And he got married to her. Now he's living large. You see, he met his sampling unconsciously. He didn't know, unaware. He didn't, yes, because he didn't have any idea of that. So many a time you can beat your sampling without knowing that she's your sampling, or he is a sampling, and life will move on smooth. And if you are not lucky and you leave her or you break up with her, then life will begin to mess up for you. You see, life will begin to mess up for you. And there are women, when they are in your life, and you try your best to break up with them, and you see that life will begin to do what? To move on smooth for you. You see, so we are exchanging energies. And also sex, when having intimacy with a lady or a woman, there is a way of doing it to benefit from each other. It is not only an exercise, it is exchanging of energies. So we have something that called tantra. Yes. Tantra sex is a way of having intimacy with exercising and something that you have more energies, and you can use that energy to attract anything that you want in life.
How do we do it?
I would love to. We should treat that as a section, maybe some other time. So me, any time that I have intimacy with my wife, I use the energy to solve people's problem. I don't just use the energy. You see, look at the way, you see, human being, we are so special. Look at the way when you are coming. Look at the way you feel within your system.
How do you feel when you are coming? What's funny?
You see, this is
I've not experienced it before, so you tell me.
This is an orgasm, okay? And
orgasmic movement.
Yes, it's an expression of what? Of the source. Okay, so when this orgasm is being flowing in your system, you are having 110 Q of energy. So if you know how to use this, at that point of time, you can use it to attract wealth. You can use it to do anything you want. So tantra sex is very important for one to learn, to know. There are women, they do have orgasm during sex. But when the man know how to do tantra, she will shout, she will scream on bed.
Like how?
I'm telling you.
Like how?
Because
tantra, how do they shout?
Because they will have
I want you to show me.
because you see if you are having tantra, you know where the power points are. So you'll be able to touch the point. All the points are chakras, which it is a key of the orgasm. Okay, when you know how to touch all the keys, definitely the orgasm will rise within the system. Okay, and normally too, it will be very easier when a woman meets her sampling. Even if she doesn't feel anything, when she meets her sampling, it is automatic. It will spark the orgasm within. So guys, I'm telling you, it is very important. It is must for each and every one to know what her sampling is, or what your sampling is, or who is your sampling.
Good.
It's very important. Most important for everybody to know that. You see, let me tell you something. A certain man came to me. This man, he was a former billionaire. He's in Ghana. He's a Ghanaian. And things, fucked up. Everything became so difficult for him. And he came to me. So I tap his energy, and I told him that his daughter, that was, I think, his third born, she is his sampling. And I told him what to do for her, and he did. Within 4 to 5 months, things change. So always she is very closer to him, but she didn't know why the father began to like her so much. Things begin to change in his life. So maybe one of your children is your sampling. You are maltreating him or her. Life will be more miserable for you, because that's your energy. You are maltreating the energy, so you are telling the energy not to do it, not to come close to you. So definitely the energy will not attract good things in your life. So we should know what our sampling is, or who is our sampling, and we should learn how to treat them well, with sober and care. Definitely life is going to change, and we will benefit from that. We will surely benefit from that. Yes.
Okay.
So you know your sampling. You know you have a sampling.
I know.
We all have our sampling. So there was a time a certain girl came to me here, and she was married. She's married, and I got to know she's my sampling. Yes, she's my next sample. You can have 13 samples.
It's not just one.
Yes, you can have 13
2,
samples, or 3. Yeah. And when I got to find out that she's my sample, she was going, and I gave her 500 cedis, and she was like, "Why did I give her?" I said, "No, I just give it to you." I know the reason why I gave that money to her, because I want to have blessing from her. You see, so whenever you meet your sample, it is very good to treat them well, to give them something. Okay. And anytime any man who respects his sample always gain in life.
Wow. Lord Zilla, thanks for the education.
You're welcome.
When are we meeting again?
Anytime, any day, I'm around.
Okay. Lord Zilla, CEO of Bisatumi Heba.
Yes.
Where is Bisatumi Heba located?
It's in between Kaso and Amasama. Nurses quarters in between Kaso and Amasama. Yes.
Okay. I'm CK. Before due respect, subscribe to television CK for your exclusive spiritual interviews.
But tell your viewers, Fridays I don't work. Now Fridays I will off my phone. Fridays, I need to rest.
That's true. That's true.
So Fridays I will off my phone. 24 hours. Fridays I will not work.
For you to rest.
I want to rest.
And have time for family.
Yes, as well.
And your wives.
As well. 2 wives.
Okay, we'll meet you before some other day. Cheers.